Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Nick Drinks. I'm your host, Nick Britsky. We are continuing our series through the Game of Thrones Diageo whiskey series, and this week is Lannister, so we're very excited about that.
And now, another episode of Game of Drinks, Episode 7.
Brought to you by Diageo.
Sir Nick, I'm so glad we're able to sit down for a beer and put all of this silliness between the Starks and the Lannisters behind us.
Silliness. Sir Jaime, you killed my mother and my father.
And not your real parents.
That's number one, spoilers.
Okay, yes.
2, that is a terrible argument.
All right.
3, you killed my brother, my sister-in-law, I think you killed some family pets, and you personally paralyzed Bran.
For love. We weren't responsible for Recon. The little one, your brother, Recon.
Doesn't ring a bell.
It's a lot of characters to keep track of.
Tell me about it.
And yet so many of them are here on the night before this battle. Arya.
Sir Brienne,
Hey.
I mean, will they or won't they? Am I right? Ah, Tyrion.
Sir Gregor.
Off.
Oh, yikes. Someone woke up on the wrong side of the dirt floor today, huh?
Toast to our houses?
Oh,
You need a hand?
no.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, really? I got it.
Well, you think we'll survive this big battle?
I don't know. We film this before it airs.
Joining me is PJ Jacokes, who is the co-owner and producer of Go Comedy right here in Ferndale. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I want to give you a shout out because you gave me my first bartending job.
I did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Your resume said you had so much experience.
So I would say arguably this is largely thanks to you, so I appreciate it.
That's, hey, no problem.
Yeah.
I really didn't know that. That's very cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
PJ has also been the writer of all of the little sketches that we did. We just finished the last one.
Yep.
What did you think?
Super fun.
Yeah.
When we first met and we were trying to figure out the tone for these, we decided it wasn't quite a high school talent show, and it certainly wasn't a collegiate talent show. So we went with a junior college talent show, which really made it a lot easier to write them, knowing that was the bar.
I feel like we are starting to descend into like middle school talent show. So yes, and I am saying this before I've edited actually the one that is going to be before this, which you see the water and the raft and all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to show.
I'm sure it's going to look great.
I agree. So let's start taking a look at this. What we do every episode is we take the base product that you can get anywhere, and this is the Lagavulin 16. This is a fairly peaty, intense scotch, and then we compare it to the Game of Thrones scotch, which are kind of difficult to get now. When they were on the market, they were anywhere from like 30 to 60. Now they're going for anywhere from $300 to $400 a bottle.
Wow.
Yeah. And we've ruined all the value by drinking them. So, are you a Scotch fan?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
I'm not a nuanced Scotch fan, but this is most of what I enjoy.
Well, and the nice thing about Lagavulin is it is fairly accessible. I would say most bars, if they have a Scotch program, are going to have this. Maybe not the 16, but they're definitely going to have one of them. Now, as part of Go Comedy has a bar, obviously. That's why they hired me. When you are kind of equipping your bar, what were you looking for when you first did that?
Well, first, we started with the stuff that we liked and the stuff that was kind of everywhere.
Okay.
Before we opened, we had a night where we just went through and came up with menu items. A lot of them started as the name, and then we figured out what was in them.
Okay.
A lot of dorky book references, like the Pangalactic Gargle Blaster. There's one drink. The only drink I made 2 drinks, and for the most part, I let people that know better do it. But Pangalactic Gargle Blaster was mine.
Yep. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yep. So it was lemon vodka with Goldschlager.
Yep.
Because in the book, it's like a slice of lemon wrapped around a gold bar and punched through your head or something like that.
Okay.
And then the one that I'm most proud of is a drink called Rasputini, which was a Crystal Skull vodka and absinthe. And it was terrible, and it cost like $15 to make even, and no one bought it, but it would level you. It was,
I bet.
But you come back to life, much like Rasputin. So it was I like naming stuff.
Well, and you had the red potion and the blue potion, right?
Yeah. Those were the work of Tommy Leroy. Those were his pitches. But and we have these awesome little beakers that they're in, just like in Zelda.
Yep.
And they're basically candy, but in the form of booze.
They were pretty sweet, if I remember.
Yeah.
Well, so here we have Lagavulin 16. So,
Okay.
cheers, sir. Thank you for your help.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
To the house.
Bar. So every Scotch we've tried has been very different. This one obviously is the most full flavored. You are getting a ton of peat, a ton of wood, that smoke, the bitter. There's so much character in here.
There's a ton going on, and the way it's sort of every second it's a new flavor. It's
a long.
yeah.
Yep. And 16 tends to be a little bit longer than I think the one that is, more historically on the shelves. I believe it actually is closer to a 9 or a 10. I'd have to check I'll put some notes down here.
What is that main flavor though? Like it's
So the you're probably talking like the peat smoke, that kind of characteristic. So they have to dry out the barley, the malt, and they used to do it with this peat, this kind of organic matter, and that infused a lot of that smoky character in Scotch.
okay.
They've moved a little bit away from that as you get to some of the more Highland or more generic Scotches. A lot of the American Scotches tend to not have that as much, and it's just a more generic heat.
Yeah.
So maybe like a gas or something like that.
Yeah, because with Scotch, like the main thing is this to me is like the hit or miss. If this flavor's too harsh, I can't really get into it.
Yeah, it's like drinking a really intense beer. You know,
Yeah.
you can have a couple sips of it, but boy, finishing a full bottle or a glass,
Right.
Tends to be tough.
Dangerous, yeah.
I have to be in the right mood for this. I know a lot of people swear by the high peat Scotches, but
Yeah.
this one, I'm okay right now. Because
Yeah.
I feel like a couple sips, I'm good.
Yeah, and we're filming this at 5 a.m., so it's it's gonna be a long day.
All right, so to compare and contrast, so this is the Lannister, and I think kind of the reason why they paired it up with the Lagavulin is just be from that intensity, that kind of sneak attack, maybe, if you will.
Yeah. But it has an older flavor to it. I mean, like you said, it's the kind of the newer ones have veered away from it.
Who's the patriarch of the Lannisters?
I mean, there's so many. Tywin, but he's dead.
Okay.
Spoiler.
If you don't know that by now.
Yeah, too late. You had your chance. But now it's just the 3 kids, so it's Cersei, Tyrion, and Jaime.
All right. Just mixed breeding, all sorts of inner nonsense, yeah.
Yep.
One of the richest and oldest dynasties of the Seven Kingdoms, the House of Lannister will stop at nothing to retain its power and influence on the hold on the Iron Throne. So in here, we're looking for a roaring single malt that leaves with an intense smoky flavor on your palate with every sip. Round 2, cheers.
Cheers.
Already milder.
Yeah,
right
so
off the
much
bat.
milder. Yeah.
I almost get like bourbon notes.
Wow, that is. I like that one so much better.
The smoke is there,
Yeah.
but it's muted. And there's more sweeter notes and characteristics coming out of it.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't block everything else out. 'Cause
Right.
that first one that was. I mean, you could taste a lot of stuff, but that was prominent.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is super yummy.
A little more nuanced, yes.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we've been theorizing as we go through these is, are these a little more for the American palate?
Yeah.
So this is such a classic old school Scotch. Are they trying to tweak the mixture a little bit? Maybe so it's more accessible to new Scotch drinkers or American Scotch drinkers.
Yeah. I could absolutely see that.
Yeah, because I still think it brings a lot of the characteristics from the Lagavulin, but it is a little more
Yeah.
easy, accessible.
Yeah. It's a good place to start for sure.
Absolutely. So if people do want to see more of your writing and maybe your acting chops, how would they do that?
Well, I'm always performing at Go Comedy. Most of a couple weekends a month. And on their website, we have every actor has their own page. So there's commercials that I've done, and I was in a video with Eminem that's on there. Short movie I did. So if you go to gocomedy.net, you can learn all about it. If you go to gocomedy.com, you will learn nothing.
And if people want to perfect their acting chops or their improv chops, they can do that with you as well.
Yep. So we have Go You, the Improv Academy. It's a 2-year program of learning to improvise, both in games, which is called short form, or more scenic, which is called long form. But also we do like sketch writing. We have a musical improv program. So we have a lot of options for growing as a performer or a human being, depending.
So it's like Barry without the murdering.
It's a lot like Barry without the murdering, and I guess that that makes me Fonzie. So
there you go. One of my favorite stories, and there was a plaque when I worked there. I don't know if you still have it.
It's still there?
Okay. Of how many days since someone visited asking for the Secretary of State.
Yep.
What does that mean?
So in 2006, the building that is now Go Comedy had been a Secretary of State for decades.
Okay.
And so that's the building we took over. And we completely gutted it. And we opened in November of 2008. So it was about 2 years from when the Secretary of State closed to when we opened.
Okay.
And for the first 9 years that we were open, we would still get people that would come in. And when you enter, it's a bar. I mean, you enter into a bar.
It's very obvious.
Right. Very, very clear that it is not a Secretary of State. But people would still come in and just verify that this building that has comedy posters on the front and an awning that says Go Comedy and a full bar when you walk in was in fact not the Secretary of State.
And what is that currently? If you walk in today, what does that currently say? Has it been a while?
It was May of last year.
So still fairly recent.
A full 12 years after it closed.
Okay.
And for a long time, if you went on Google and typed in Secretary of State, our address would come up.
Okay.
And so the internet is lying to these people. But then also they're lying to themselves at the point they park and get out of their car and don't get right back into it. They've decided that they don't accept any reality.
Do you have a message to the new Secretary of State?
Oh, yeah. Update your website.
Okay, there we go. Well, on that note, thank you so much for attending. That was great. I appreciate all your writing work.
This has been super fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so goofy and it's been fun to do. So thank you.
So we're approaching the last episode. So please keep tuning in. If you want to watch the old ones, you can click on this link and get the rest of them. And if you like me, you can find me at nickdrinks.com. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at nickdrinks.com spelled out. And of course, YouTube /nickdrinks. Cheers, sir.
Cheers, brother. Thank you so much.
Cigar, and have a good night, everyone. But this is totally something we could do in post, though.
Okay. I mean, that's perfect.
That's probably my favorite gag right now.